All right. Another episode of Mormonism After Dark, Radio Free Mormon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Bill, how are you?
Life is good. December 20th.
Yes, it is. I'm so sorry. I just remembered that I forgot my fake cigarette. I am bummed.
If you want to run and go get it, I can, I'll just tell like penguin jokes or something.
Yeah, okay. It's not going to take me too long, okay? Just hang on a second. I can't do the show without it.
I actually don't have any penguin jokes. We had to put our dog down last weekend, RFM. And this is where RFM would go, "Oh, that's so sad." And then I would say, "Well, we just went on vacation." And I think that's Nate Bargazzi who said that. So I've got to buy more time here for Mr. Radio Free Mormon. Folks, I don't know if you've ever, by the way, I'll just say this. If you want to join the newsletter, please do. Join our newsletter, subscribe.io/Mormon discussion. All right. So
now I'm ready to go.
Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you. I was gone just for a few seconds. Did you mention that tonight is the longest night of the year?
I did not. That was your observation.
I'm pretty sure that's true because I think, back when I was a kid, before they had telescopes and things and stars, no, we just knew what day the solstice was going to be on. And I don't know. I don't recall it ever changing back then. But now they can get a bead on it down to the minute, the second, I'm sure the nanosecond as to exactly when it is the solstice occurs. And that is at 1-something in the morning tonight, Pacific time. So I think this must be the longest night of the year.
Nice. That means if nobody bothers us, we should get a little extra sleep.
Yes, and tomorrow will be the shortest day.
Dang it. Better get everything done while you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be up at the crack of dawn. I'll be up at dark 30 to come down to the studio. I'm recording with Colby Reddish.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Colby Brown.
Right. Two different people.
Yes. Or that hyphenated character, Colby Reddish Brown. Not to be confused with him either.
He's out there somewhere.
He is. I talked with him before the show. He seems to be doing well. And it'll be earlier for me, but that's just because I live in an earlier time zone than it will be for Colby, but that's okay. I sacrifice for my art.
Yeah, there you go. One of you has to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm happy to.
How's your week been?
I'm so sorry, what?
How's your week been? And I'll just, before you get started.
Yes.
Folks, you can call into the show. I'll put the banner up. We'd love to have you. 662-667-6667. Or the live chat, you'll see the link if you want to come into the studio. And hopefully we'll see you. Okay, how was your week?
Before I answer that question, can I finish answering the first question?
Oh, please.
Because I never got around to it, which I did the whole setup about Colby and coming in tomorrow morning to record with Colby because we're going to be doing chapter 5.
Gotcha.
Our review, our debunking, our demolition of the Light and Truth letter, which we call the Light on Truth letter.
Yeah. It's a little light on truth.
Yes. And we have put out the bat signal. We have announced on every single one of these episodes, except for the first one, at the top of the show, an invitation to Austin Fife, which he has received. We know that because Colby has been in contact with him, like in comment sections of different YouTube videos, at least. So he knows about it, but he doesn't really want to come on, which raises the question, as Colby eloquently puts it to him. So who was this Light on Truth letter written to again? Because it says it's written to critics of the church.
Yeah.
So it's a strange thing that the author of the Light and Truth letter written to critics of the church doesn't want to come on to talk with critics of the church about his Light and Truth letter. And that's another effing chiasmus, my friend.
Yeah. Do you think, RFM, looking at his project, do you get the feeling that because there was a time where you and I were on the front end, we were doing apologetics, and there's a part of you that believes what you're doing. Like, you believe the church is true, and this
certainly.
Yeah. So
that's the only reason you would be doing it, I would think.
Yeah. So the faith is sort of maybe more on that. It's the kind of faith you and I had on that front end when we did apologetics. And it
absolutely.
Is he doing like really simplified answers?
Yes.
Where, he's he's not really walking out the next problem he runs into if he takes his logic all the way to the end.
Well, I will tell you that without going into detail right now, there is an argument that he is making in this one chapter
Hmm.
that I'm identifying in tomorrow's show, which we're going to record. We have it all outlined and slided. That's why I know it's one of the points I'll be bringing up.
Yep.
But where he makes an argument in this chapter about the Book of Mormon, it's about the witnesses. It's called "Can I Get a Witness?"
Mhm.
And he's going to contradict it a number of chapters later when he's talking about plural marriage. So just want you to know, yeah, he does that all over the place.
Do you? I got the promo image here. Would you like the audience to see it, or would you
I
like?
would love for the audience to see this because this is a fantastic, fantastic thumbnail. I love this thumbnail.
All right.
I really want to see. There it is. And there's Oliver and what would you call it? Oliver and the Witnesses.
Oliver, you got to go with Oliver. David and Martin are too normal of a name. Oliver and the Witnesses is a good band name.
I like it. And you know they're doing the they're playing the Grand Funk song Some Kind of Wonderful.
Yeah.
And they were doing the chorus, the famous chorus. Can I get a witness?
Do you think David Whitmer said, "Come on, what about the Whitmer Witnesses"? You know?
Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he
Right.
did, but that got overruled.
Yeah, Oliver and the Witnesses is a much better band name.
I love this. I think this is going to be great. It's going to be absolutely sensational. We're going to try and keep it under 6 hours if we possibly can.
They get longer and longer and longer, folks.
They do. And the problem is that I have, and I think it's the exact same problem that Colby has, is the co-host. No, I'm just kidding. I think the problem that I have is the same one that he has, which is we find stuff, we get an idea and we go through it and then we go back and we see more and then we see more and then we think of something else. Oh, we got to put this in here and whatever. So it does tend to get out of hand because we're having so much fun with this. By the way, this is one thing I want you to know. The witness, I'm sorry, what is it? Promise. Yeah, I think we can get under 6 hours. And if not 7.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, I can't even remember what it's the problem is. Oh, we keep adding stuff. But I want everybody to know that when you're talking about the witnesses to the Book of Mormon, my impression of that subject is that is dry as dirt, and who cares to hear about that anymore? I've heard about it so many times, and I think that there must be at least some in the audience who feel the same way. What I have done is in my segment, the first segment, is I have taken a new look at a new twist on it, a new turn on it. And I think that it's interesting and it's powerful. And then I also have to talk about the Ghost Committee. And if you've never heard about the Ghost Committee, you're going to want to tune in just for that because you will not believe it, but it's 100% true. The Ghost Committee that was responsible for the translation of the Book of Mormon, or so some theorize. And then Colby's going to do his deal, and his is fantastic too. We're not going to go through and count how many times somebody said they saw it with their spiritual eyes versus somebody who saw it with, because I find that pointless. And it's one of the things that makes this subject so boring to me, because, if you're one of the 3 witnesses and you say you saw it with your spiritual eyes, I think, well, duh, it's a vision. What other eyes are you going to see it with but your spiritual eyes? So I never found that to be that remarkable. But the things we're going to be talking about are absolutely devastating to the credibility of the 3 witnesses. It'll be great. Hope you can join us. Should premiere 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
7 o'clock, but you still have yet to do, but based on what you'd like to do, 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
This is the plan. Can I get a witness?
Can you get a witness? I wonder if you went into another faith, Jehovah's Witnesses, for instance, choose to deal with this problem a different way, right? They just make the internet bad. Mormonism said, internet's fine, probably shouldn't trust it a whole lot, but the internet's fine. But then what we'll do is we'll have apologists. And I don't know if the Jehovah's Witnesses have any sort of apologetic arm. Do they? And Scientology.
There? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that they train their membership so thoroughly with their multiple books. And, my brother's a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
And was a long time ago. And they have a whole library of books. They're kind of shorter, and they're hardback, and they're all different colors. They're like color coded, as well as having different titles. But there was one, at least, that dealt with arguments against Jehovah's Witnesses. And I think it probably comes up regularly in their Watchtower and Awake magazines, mainly the Watchtower magazines. I think they train each and every one of their members to be an apologist much more than the LDS Church does.
Yeah, but I don't think they're supposed to use the internet, correct?
I don't know.
So, yeah, I mean, I think in terms of speaking up in public spaces when conversations are happening, I think, yes, you're right. But I think, and folks, correct me in the live chat if I'm off, but I think the Jehovah's Witnesses have a huge negative sort of stipulation on what the internet means within their theology. And then Scientology does. Scientology, I mean, if you do a podcast, like if I were to interview a Scientologist, I would run the risk of Scientology going after me with like a bunch of members trying to put out like a negative campaign about me.
Yeah, make it Tom Cruise, will you?
Yeah. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I'd love that to do that one, yeah.
But they have an apologetic arm that essentially serves on behalf of the church and goes out and goes after the critics and the people who try to speak out about abuses and things like that. It goes after them and
right.
Much more aggressively than Mormonism does.
Fair gaming?
Yeah.
Fair gaming, I think they call it. John Travolta, too. Total man crush on John Travolta and Tom Cruise, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, anybody who's in Scientology, I'm crazy about.
There you go. And yeah, they are too. All right. So, don't have any calls yet, folks. We did put the link in to go into the studio.
Oh, right.
As well. RFM, you had something you were thinking about that I wanted to give you some time to sort of chat about, but some experiences you've had recently.
Well, I have. And I want everybody to understand that although I tend to be in my head mostly, which makes me oblivious to lots of things that are going on around me as a rule, every now and again, an impression will come. And I have learned that when an impression comes, not to question it, but just to follow through with it. I know I'm sounding like a Mormon here. I didn't say spiritual impression. I spared you that. But the other night, trying to get to sleep, it's very late. And sometimes when you're in your head too much, it makes it hard to turn it off to go to sleep. This is one of those nights. And I'm trying to turn it off, and all of a sudden this impression comes. Something that I needed to do. And okay. Then my concern was remembering it, right? So it wasn't important enough to me to actually get up and write it down because I don't have a pad of paper and a pen with a flashlight on it actually handy. But I repeated it several times so I wouldn't forget it. And it absolutely was spot on. Now, this is something that anybody could have figured out. The miracle isn't that I was able to help. The miracle is that I figured it out. And I didn't figure it out by thinking about it. It just came to me, right? As I was trying to still my mind. Okay, now having said that much, oh, shoot. Anyway, I'll explain that part later. No, I can do it. Okay, I was thinking the next story after this one and thinking it's on my phone, then thinking, wait a second, I think I can access it. My phone's not right here. Okay. This is so strange. There's this guy that I know who's a member of the church. And I think he got baptized back in the early 90s, not long after I moved into this area.
Right.
And, nice guy. His name's Bill, by the way.
Nice name.
I won't give his last name. But Bill and we weren't close friends or anything, but we certainly knew each other. He was, I think, the president of a title company. And so we knew him and our kids played together, that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Well, 2 years ago in October, I'm in a local grocery store. It's a beautiful day for October warm. And I'm driving away, and all of a sudden I see coming down to go to the store is this guy, Bill. And I said, "Hey, how you do?" I stopped and, rolled down the window, chatted with him. And I had this impression that this was not just by accident. that there was something that I'm supposed to do relating to Bill, and I don't know what it is. Okay. But I said, okay, hey, well, why don't we, let's get together. We'll have dinner, we couples going out, whatever. And he said, fine, fine, fine. So eventually he ended up taking a rain check because he got sick. I don't run into people typically. I mean, the people who actually work in the office during the day, yeah, I'll run into them on a regular basis. But other than that, no. I've run into this guy 4 times. And every time I see him, I say, I actually tell him, this isn't an accident. I'm supposed to do something for you, and I don't know what it is. So, work with me. So we're in this really weird situation. And last time was, I think it was last weekend at the Walmart. And, in the grocery area and coming around the corner, and here's the canned meats and whatever. And I look up and here he is coming down the freaking aisle at me.
Yeah.
And I just waited. I waited. He finally got up abreast of me, passing me. And I said, hey, Bill. And, I was thinking about that because it's frustrating. I mean, this man is standing in the way of God's will, or whatever the hell this eldritch will is that touches me from time to time. Yes.
You should walk the next time you see him. You should walk up and go, hey, Bill, they pay me to follow you. Heads up, get out of town.
That would make more sense. It's just one of these coincidences, right? I don't know. I had a distinct feeling the first time. I still do. And then I was musing on this at night, trying to go to sleep. And all of a sudden I sat up and I drew my breath in as this realization hit me. Man, this guy really doesn't want to talk to me.
He gives you nothing every time.
I'm a little late to the party on that one, I'm sure. But it was just so focused and such positive energy and such a mission, and all this stuff, all this energy going in this direction.
Yeah.
That it never occurred to me that he doesn't want to talk to me. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's from within or without, but I do tend to agree with Hamlet that there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. And yours can be anybody's, including mine.
Yeah. You got to figure out what you're going to say the next time you see him. There's got to be a witty line. Of course, you'll figure it out 3 feet from him and it'll be classic. But
I think I'm going to do a karate sweep on the sucker and then come up and pop him right in the nose and see if that gets his attention.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I did a karate sweep. I think I'd hurt myself.
Yeah. I can do this thing where I can jump off to the side and like click my heels together in the air.
Yeah.
And I can still do it. But when I come down now, I hurt my leg.
Be careful. That's the dangerous part.
That's it.
Yeah. It's like, and the airplane trip, the dangerous part is the landing. I'll tell you a story about that in a second. But what you're talking about, clicking your heels, and I was talking about what? Oh, sweep the leg. Sweep the leg. That's what I was thinking of, right?
Yeah. And you said now maybe you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So MX is in the show down below.
MX. Oh, I remember MX. This person reminds me of that super villain of Superman's, Mr. McGipplex. Do you know that guy?
No, I know the Megaplex Theaters ran by Larry Miller, but
it almost could be pronounced that way. But the whole deal is that there are no vowels in the whole. It's like 10, 15 letters strung together, and M and X are featured in those letters.
Yeah.
And so are some G's and some Z's, but you can't pronounce it. And he's just sort of like an imp. He's kind of like me.
What do you think about that, MX? Does that resemble sort of a description of who you are?
Oh, I don't know about evil villain.
Okay, well,
my exes might dispute that though.
Gotcha. Where are you calling from?
Australia, good morning.
Oh, it must be the longest
you.
day of the year.
Yeah, it is. It
It's the
is.
shortest day of the year here.
I know. Have you got any snow up there yet?
Not in southern Utah.
No, he
No.
lives in basically it's hell. He lives in hell,
In the
Utah.
summers, it's close.
Yeah,
Yeah, summers are like that here too.
but there is snow up in the mountains where I am. Yes, in the Cascade Mountains.
Oh, lovely.
And what
Lovely.
about down there? I'm guessing there's no snow. Where are you in Australia?
I'm in Perth, so it's on the west coast, most isolated capital city in the world.
I remember this because when you mentioned that the last time you called, I said that's where Skylab fell down back in '79.
That's right.
And you said,
Yeah.
And yes, okay.
And I got called a sand groper.
Oh, yes, right. See, we can just reconstruct our prior conversation.
And it's still just as entertaining as the first time.
So I wanted to talk about moral agency. I revisited your interview with David Bokovoy from like a year or so ago. Man, I love that dude. He is just the kindest, sweetest, smartest human I've laid eyes on and ears on. I just think he's a champ.
Yeah.
And you guys
try
are
not to be insulted.
as a friend. But what I want to talk, I think it was about the episode was about sex and the Garden of Eden and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I hope he's going to touch on this question or this paradox that I have in my mind. And he didn't quite. So I thought I'd bring it up with you guys, the Brains Trust.
Nice.
So why is it that so the plan of salvation was for us to come down to earth, have free agency, and, you know, do the right things to earn our way back into God's presence.
That's the way it used to be.
Yeah. But they put Adam and Eve in the garden. But they're also there to multiply and replenish the earth. But then they get told not to eat from the forbidden fruit. They disobey God, but by disobeying God, they complete his plan of us to have free agency and have sex and multiply and replenish the earth. So why is it that they had to disobey God's commandment in order to set off the plan of salvation when we're supposed to be obeying his commandments all the time?
Because God can turn disobedience into his will.
Was it like a temporary commandment?
Was Judas supposed to betray Jesus? And yet he had to, in order for the great plan of redemption to be brought about.
Wasn't Jesus born from the concubines of David?
I don't know, but it just like messes with my mind that like the first people on earth apparently get told, obey me. They're supposed to be our examples, and like it just doesn't calculate in my brain.
No, and it doesn't. It does not. Because they talked about conflicting commandments, and you go, okay, conflicting commandments make God not just, right? You can't give conflicting commandments and then punish them regardless of which one they break. That makes you unjust. And according to the Book of Mormon, if God ceased to be just, he would cease to be God.
Exactly.
And he gives you agency, and he also tells you what you have to do. And breaking his commandment comes with punishment. So you don't really have agency. Like, you got to do what you have to do or else you go to hell. Like, you're going into the corner, you're getting your ass swatted, and you're going to your room.
And to that point, what RFM just said about Judas, did he actually have the agency to choose to betray Jesus or
Absolutely.
not?
He was just a mean sucker at heart.
Yeah, but that's part of the plan. Like, he had to, so that Jesus would get crucified and resurrected for our sins.
I will tell you, MX, you bring me to mind of things that I haven't thought of in a long time along believing
Sorry
lines.
about that.
No, it's okay. Because what I wanted to say was just that there is a line of thought to which I tend to subscribe as a possibility, that the reason that Judas went to the Roman authorities to turn Jesus in was not because he did not believe he was the Messiah. It was because he did believe that Jesus was the Messiah, that Jesus was dawdling around too much and he wasn't getting down to Messiah business, and that if he were captured by the Romans and then sent to be crucified, he would have to reveal himself as the great Messiah and then destroy the Romans and then take the throne and rule and reign over Israel forever. So
That's
if
pretty
that's
freaking
true,
dark.
if that's true, and it's hard to tell at this point, but if that's true, at least it tends to make some sense out of the story we get about Judas going out and hanging himself in remorse over it.
That's really dark, mate.
Yeah, because I mean, they're in different gospels. I think one is at the beginning of Acts and the other one's at the end of Matthew. But the one about either he goes running out in the field and he falls down and his bowels gush out, right? I think that's the Acts one. I think at Matthew at the end, he hangs himself.
Mm.
But yeah, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me that a person goes and intentionally turns somebody in to get him executed, takes 30 pieces of silver for it, and then feels so bad about it they hang themselves. I think that's possible, but it's so dang premeditated. I think it's more interesting as something that he did on purpose, but he didn't expect the result.
Or you didn't expect to feel bad about it.
Yeah, well, he loved this guy. He was the Messiah. He's just trying to advance the timeline, and then he gets killed. And it's like, not only am I having a severe faith crisis, I just killed my best friend.
He really believed, and he was like, "Go ahead, Jesus, get yourself out of a jam. You're the Messiah." And it didn't happen.
Yeah, what were the crowds of people who were walking by, shouting up and jeering at Jesus about, right?
Crucify him.
Come down.
Like my daughter would say, she'd go, womp, womp.
Yeah, if you're God, come on down.
Oh, dear. Also, I see cultural halls there. Good work, mate. You and RFM and Colby Reddish are just absolutely killing it on the Jacob Hansen front. I love it.
Oh,
Jacob deserves it.
if it weren't for negative attention, Jacob would have no attention at all.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know. I'm like, oh, maybe you guys should stop giving him oxygen, but also it's making me laugh and giving me endorphins. So just keep going.
Well, the fun part is after we give him oxygen, you can flick your bick.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love doing that. That's always fun.
Well, thank you, MX. Thank you you've called before or come into the studio before, correct?
I have indeed.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I appreciate coming in the studio.
No worries. I'll catch you guys another time. Have a great Christmas.
Take it easy.
Good day, mate.
That's pretty cool having somebody come in from all the way from Australia, huh?
The Antipodes.
She posted, I'm gonna say she, but he or she posted a moral conundrum. And I have here, just coinky dink, I've got a set here of moral dilemma cards.
You planned this. This was a plant.
Or it wasn't. I didn't have the person from Australia, MX, call in. And but I do have moral dilemma cards. And if anybody's ever played Moral Dilemma, it's a lot of fun. So I have 4 questions for you tonight.
As an attorney, I've never faced a moral dilemma.
Good. All right. So the first one is someone at our table is a spy. Also me, possibly. Do you A, torture the weakest one to try to get information? Or do you cut off the fingers of the strongest one to set an example for the rest? It's pretty serious. I mean, this is...
Well, I'm going to take on the weakest one, obviously. The strongest one's going to kick my ass.
Okay. Well, torture the weakest one to try to get information. Of course, the chances the weakest one has the information is slim to none, right? They're not the one that generally will have it.
That's okay. The weak one can't beat my ass.
That's true. I showed him, didn't I, all of you? Now, give me that information. All right, number 2. You are...
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Did you answer?
I can.
I think you should. I think that's only fair. since I
Because
just
it says I
tore
cut the
my
fingers
soul.
off. Yeah, because it
Scared
says I
me.
cut the fingers off, I'm gonna cut the fingers off of the strongest one.
Why? He
Because
needs his fingers.
if I cut the fingers off of the strongest one,
Yeah.
then whoever's at the table that has information, they're gonna talk. Otherwise, I just killed a weakling for no reason. That doesn't make any sense. That strategy actually has no chance of succeeding.
It has a chance.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay.
So then it feels like it's even a bigger ethical mistake is to punish somebody who didn't need to get to the bottom of something.
Yeah. Like I said, I've never met a moral dilemma I didn't like.
Yeah. All right. So next one. You are walking in the woods and you come across an extraterrestrial being
Mm.
and it offers a choice. Do
Does it
you
look like
A,
Carrie shirts?
no, but it looks like the things that Carrie Shirts claims that others have seen.
Okay.
All right. So he says the extraterrestrial being that you come across as you're walking through the woods, it offers you a choice. He says, do you choose to be enlightened on the meaning of life, or do you choose to gain the knowledge necessary to provide a cure for all illnesses? You can cure all illnesses across all humankind,
Hmm.
or you can know the entire meaning of life from a universe perspective.
So easy. That's a no-brainer to me.
Which one are you taking?
I would take getting the cure for all illnesses for all humanity. And through doing that, I would find out what the freaking meaning of life is.
Okay. I'm going to get the meaning of life.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Who knew
And-
you were so selfish?
By the way, this is the perfect moment. I wouldn't do it, by the way. I would not create a religion, but this is the perfect moment to create a religion. You literally had an extracurricular or extraterrestrial being communicate with you.
Literally.
It's what Abraham claims happened to him. It's what Moses said.
Oh, right.
They talked to God. This is in some way talking to God because he tells you, she tells you, it tells you the meaning of life. It has done effectively what God has done in every visitation that anyone who's claimed to be a prophet is claiming is happening. So you are the perfect person to establish the one true religion, the only which the Lord is well pleased.
Or at least the aliens.
Yeah.
But really, you're just a sellout, basically, is what you are.
The only way the aliens know their actual meaning of life is if they got it figured out. They cracked the code.
You're subjugating all of us under alien rule, and you just admitted it.
I did.
Me, I just want everybody to feel good. Dang it.
No illnesses.
You know, I want to heal everybody so that the apostles don't have to keep going down to the primary children's hospital in Salt Lake City every freaking weekend to lay hands on those kids and heal them.
Isn't it weird that we're led by prophets, seers, and revelators who hold the holy priesthood of God, by which olive oil, which has been set apart and consecrated, can be placed on the crown of the head of the children who have illnesses that will take their very lives in the next 2 weeks. And those men don't go to Salt Lake City Children's Primary Hospital. Doesn't that seem strange that they aren't blessing what more important thing? He who offend one of these little ones, right? Like, if there's any place these guys should be spending more, would any of us be bothered if they all came to conference and said, I don't have a talk prepared. I have labored in the Children's Primary Hospital every day for 364 days.
Mhm.
And then
I'm on a roll. I'm on a streak.
And then,
It's like everybody I'm laying my hands on gets healed.
yeah. And then I come to conference every 6 months. And then I tell you guys what the Lord would have you know. But the rest of the time, every day I get up, I go into that hospital and I bless children left and right. If this really worked, every member in the church would go, got it. That sounds like go do that. Don't even do that. You can charge us 10%. Do that. If those kids will walk out of there healed, we are in. None of us will give us the lamest conference talk ever and just make children walk out of hospitals healed.
Sorry, it was a bad joke, but I guess that's a sore spot for you because I know that really bothers you. And it's by this same power and authority that they claim to preside, that they claim to have the power. to perform all the ordinances in the church and have the keys to permit different people to perform those ordinances. It is the same priesthood power that allows them to do that as that allows them to heal all those little kids, Bill.
And you believers out there, you buy it so much that you don't expect it. You're like, I don't actually expect anybody to be healed. When Elder Bednar says it's better to have faith not to be healed, I thought, yeah, like none of my blessings have worked and church is still true and no big deal. It just doesn't bother you. That to me is sort of it's sort of funny when you think of like what doesn't bother people.
Well, they're very busy. The apostles are very busy running the business concerns of the church. And I get a great idea. Call a 13th apostle. That's his old job.
You guys can keep doing what you're doing. You have $265 billion. You can pay guy number 16 to just labor at
He just hangs out at the hospital, man.
Oh my goodness. He doesn't have to go anywhere. He gets up. He spends 8 hours. We want him to get his healthy sleep. We don't want him to put his body in jeopardy. Get 8 hours of sleep every night. Keep the word of wisdom. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins. But from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, and we'll give you meals. We will provide you, just like the missionaries are provided casseroles by the surrounding members. The members around the Children's Primary Hospital will provide you casseroles and meals every meal. You'll be so taken care of. And all you have to do, Elder D, whatever it is, you just have to walk into there and bless little kids with cancer and send them walking.
I know. It'd be a great feeling. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
They can't do it, RFM. Then nobody, the believers go, yeah, whatever. Back to Fox News, back to CNN. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. They don't care.
They can't afford to care. I'm sorry, because I knew this stuff too, but just trying to hang on. I really tried. And every now and then you'll say something like that. It'll make me think of how much I tried. And I remember all over again. I really tried to hang in there. And I did for decades by my fingernails.
RFM, here, one more. Take it one further. If priesthood works, all it means is that at the very minimum, one more kid walks out of that hospital who wouldn't have. Right? I think the entire membership of the church said, let's hire number 16. Let's pay him the stipend of $180,000. Let's give him the same free health insurance, the same free car, the same whatever, all of the perks. And he just has to show up at Children's Primary Hospital and bless children, knowing that at least, because he has priesthood, at least one more kid will walk out of that hospital with his life in front of him. We would, as a member, I'd go, fucking do it. Please, just do it. Fucking.
That's the story about the guy throwing the starfish back in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
It mattered to that one.
Yeah. Mark my words, little current bush. I'm the master of the vineyard here. Right. The apologist comes on and goes, oh, how are you to know what God's ways are? But don't fucking play around, apologist. It's a fucking kid with cancer. Just fucking send the guy. Just send him.
Yeah. Yeah, because God couldn't come up with that one. This is the thing about God's ways are not your ways, and his ways are his, Isaiah, is it 55? I can't remember, but it gets quoted a lot. My ways are not your ways, and, don't sass me, youngster, is basically what God's saying, because I know better. I understand all that. But when I can come up with a better idea than God, I think we have a problem.
If they did like a half hour, if heaven said, all right, this isn't going well. We got guys like Midnight Mormons and Jacob Hansen on our team defending us. This shit's just not going well. Let's go ahead and go with let's ask the critics if they can come up with some good ideas, and then Apostle 16 using priesthood in the primary hospital.
It would be wonderful. But it's been staring in the face the whole time. And I think that my time in the church has been a wrestle against the obvious. And I mean, I put my mission papers in. Me and my best friend Bruce, who baptized me, right? Member of the church, great missionary, great guy, baptized me right out of high school in 1978. It was June. Coincidentally, the same month of the same year that the priesthood ban and temple ban was lifted. Missionaries didn't mention anything about that to me. I might have just, I didn't know anything about that, even though it was causing huge tsunamis within the church. I didn't know about it until later. But having said all of that, it's June, it's 1978. It's Bruce. And I brought this up for a reason. See, this is the problem when they go off on these tangents on Mormonism After Dark. It's not as easy for me to get back on track again. Do you remember what I was saying before?
No, the only thing I know to do is to go to my last two questions, which would be the very beginning of our tangent.
Oh,
hilarious. So I'd like to play further.
We both were, there's 4 years of German that you can take. And it was an endangered species of student because we both took first year German, 9th grade. And after that year, they stopped doing it in 9th grade. So to be able to take 4 years of German, you had to have taken that class for your first year in 9th grade. Anyway, Bruce and I were the only two people in the entire school who took all 4 years of German. All right. So we put our papers in for the mission. He gets called to Austria. I get called to Japan. And I just want to take the opportunity right now to thank whoever it was who thought that was funny. Because I'm sure you got a big laugh out of it. I know I did.
Should have gone the other direction, huh?
Yes.
I've got two more here for you. So here's question number 3. You learn that an evil man has a plan to murder 6 good people. The only way to stop him is to become a killer yourself.
No.
And murder him and his wife and his 4 children.
Why do I have to kill his wife and his 4 kids?
Do you A, kill him, his wife, and his 4 children? Or don't kill him and his wife and his children, and he will kill 6 good people? I mean, they're
probably not that good. Nobody's that good.
Those kids are already lost. That's their dad.
And 6 of them? Well, that's interesting. So I have the power to do this. Now you've come to actually something that seems interesting to me, by which I mean not obvious. Yeah.
Which one do you pick?
I want to do the second one because I want to be able to kill some people before I die.
And I think I 51% believe you.
Just for the experience. Just for grins. It's on my bucket list.
And giggles. All right. Final one. This one in the Christmas spirit. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
So this is.
Oh, no. Oh, yes. Okay.
It's an honor.
Did I cover my eyes?
This one's an honor of Christmas. All right. So this is. What do you want for Christmas, Tommy? I want a little brother.
All I can say is Santa doesn't have to look so damn happy about it.
I'm going to tell you right now. First off, Kris Kringle, Santa Claus. If Santa's real, and I think he is, if Santa's real, his top priority is to make little children's Christmas wishes come true. Everything else is secondary to this. Santa Claus, if he doesn't do it, he ceases to be Santa Claus. He has to.
Is that because I'm not seeing a moral dilemma there either.
Is he in the festive spirit, or is he in the mood getting into it?
Well, as they say, when Santa comes, he fills the stockings.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, I hope that gave everyone a chuckle. He filled the stockings.
Boy, what an orgasm.
There goes Don Blitzen and human comment.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see if the numbers go up or down.
We'll find out how Mormonism After Dark people want to get.
This is the After Dark part.
Yeah. By the way, folks, if you share this, you're like, you guys got to watch these two. These two fucking make me laugh my ass off for an hour and a half. Then share it. And if this is the most boring thing in the world, then you know,
And share it with people you don't like. Share it with the TBM members of your family.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Is no one calling? Is that really what's happening? Are you all
one-
ignoring us tonight? Is that?
We do have a John in the audience. So we're in the phone queue. So
Do we?
We do. Let me go to
I didn't know it was that kind of a place, but okay.
John, how are you?
I'm doing good.
What do you think, John? What does Santa have to do it? Only if, you know,
I don't know
obviously
if
if she consents. She consents. She's a single mom. She's interested. Nothing weird.
He's an elf. What are you talking about? There's nothing weird.
Whoa.
He's wearing a Santa suit. I'm sorry, John.
John, what do you think? Does Santa have to do it?
Oh, what the heck? Why not?
Well, it's better than killing a man and his family.
That's true.
Exactly.
Although it's really close to it because it's the sin next to killing a man and his family.
This is true.
And that is something that
I
only a
wanted
Mormon
to-
would know and get, right?
Exactly. Only second to murder.
That's crazy.
Hey, I wanted to.
But if you have sex twice, that's about equal to it. Killing one person, having sex twice, yeah.
Two consenting adults touching their genitals against each other is the sin next to murder.
Why are you laughing?
Because that's absurd. It's only religion that tells us that.
Well, it seems obvious to me.
Everything else about evolution says be responsible about it, but that's a good time.
I'm sorry, John. John, you're being very patient with us.
You guys are doing great. I love it. That's why I watch After Dark, for this kind of stuff.
Well, thank you. Where are you calling from, John?
Actually, calling from Salt Lake City here.
Wow. Okay, so what would you like to share with our audience?
Well, you guys were talking about priesthood blessings or blessings just a little bit ago, and why are the brethren up at the like primary children's, healing the sick, so on and so forth? And the answer is because they know it's total, right?
Yes, they
So
do.
why waste your time doing something that doesn't work?
They're doing what works, right? They chosen to do what works, and what works is what brings in the money.
Yeah, it's like
True.
getting drunk and trying to do the field
There's a
sobriety test on national TV on purpose.
Whoa.
There's actually a way you can prove it that it doesn't work, and the way to do that is my brother-in-law is an ER doctor back east, and I was talking to him about this subject one time, and he said, "Listen, I'll prove to you it doesn't work." And I said, "Okay, how do you do that?" And he goes, "Well, all of the statistics for every disease, every sickness anybody gets in the entire country." I believe he said it's on the National Center for Health Statistics, on CDC keeps it, right? And he said, we as doctors follow this real closely, and people pay attention to this stuff. And he said, if blessings actually worked, you would actually see in Utah, where lots of blessings are given at the hospitals for people that are sick, getting cancer or whatever, you would see an anomaly, like a drop in the deaths that occur. And even the slightest little anomaly, the researchers pay attention to that kind of stuff, because they'll say, hey, why do we have lower deaths there in Utah? And they'll start investigating as to why. Utah, their statistics are exactly the same as the rest of the country.
It's exactly
So
what
if you
you would
think about
expect. It's exactly what you would expect.
Can I say that I really think that, John, I really think that is the smoking gun.
It is. And my brother-in-law, when he brought it up to me, I thought, oh my gosh, that is so smart, because It's easily looked up. You just jump online, look at the statistics, and you will see no anomaly for any sickness at all in Utah, which you should see if blessings really work. You would see a decent sized anomaly, and even just a fraction of a drop would make a big difference to someone like the CDC or the National Institute of Health.
I mean, there is no other church other than perhaps I don't know of any other Christian church, maybe than the Catholic Church, that is so based on priesthood. And you got no priesthood, you got no Catholic Church. You got no priesthood, you got no Mormon Church. I mean, Bruce R. McConkie talked about that over and over, right? Priesthood, priesthood, priesthood.
Right.
Well, it's a claim they make, and they do everything, and they exist, and they're supported by, and they exercise this priesthood. There's only one place in all of the administrations and officiations of priesthood that it can be measured, and that's with blessings. And those are the results, which is no impact, zero, nothing.
And, the apologist steps forward and they go, well, the Spirit of Christ works among everyone. And we're not the only religion who can say a prayer or try to do things in the name of Christ and try to help people benefit. But what you're then saying is that priesthood is no better than any other way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's why I think that's the smoking gun. People ask about the smoking gun in Mormonism. And even though there really isn't any such thing, because a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, as Paul H. Dunn taught me. Even so, I think this really is the smoking gun.
Yeah.
The one place where you can test the priesthood claims of the church, it fails spectacularly.
In fact, if it worked, they'd be the one paying for the studies. They would want to declare to the world, the truth is here, everyone. Our blessings work, damn it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
No.
Absolutely. Be on the front page of their website for sure.
Yeah.
But I will
yeah.
say, if you want to really get the brethren and leaders of the church up to those hospitals blessing folks, have them start charging for their service. They'd be up there in 5 seconds.
$100 a blessing or whatever. They'd be there and get those done quick. It'd be like proxy baptisms at the temple. It'd be one after the other.
Exactly.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the call. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Take it easy.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
I think when you did the episode on General Conference Death March, I think you again, don't quote me. I think you counted 11 people throughout all of
I did. I think it was 11.
11 people who not one person was blessed and healed, but they told you the story of 11 people dying, and it was just expected that they would die.
It was one general conference. It was amazing. It really was. It was like they were dropping like flies in that general conference. Nobody was living.
Yeah, they were dropping like flies, not gnats, because they stayed dead.
Yes, you're right. It was the apocalypse. And some of them mentioned blessings being given a couple times. Usually you don't get the mention of the blessing before the big death scene, right? But sometimes they will tell you that anyway. Yeah. But then there's other places where there couldn't have been a blessing because of circumstances. It happened so quickly or whatever, automobile accident. But then there's this other largest, I think, group of stories in the middle where it's a person with a long illness who's a member of the church and usually a relation of the speaker, or, they're going to get blessings. They got multiple blessings. We know they did because we're Mormons. We know how it goes. They just don't mention it because then they got to say that the person dies. But it's okay, because the blessing is that there is peace in the room when the person kicked the can.
Can you imagine? There's been stories in the enzyme, which is what it used to be called. I think that maybe they call it Liahona again. But they did the enzyme, and it was President Nelson standing with some girl who's terminal. She's gonna pass away.
Mm.
And it was in the news, or it was in the magazine. But imagine this girl and her family. President Nelson is coming to see you. The president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Do you know what this means, little daughter? This means he has priesthood. He is the prophet, the seer, and the revelator. If he lays hands on your head,
Ding.
blesses you to be healed, you will be healed. And all President Nelson does is do a photo shoot and then talks about how she died.
Nobody expects it. Nobody even believes it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not laughing at her death. I'm laughing at the ineptitude of Mormon priesthood and the inability when you're in a believing mindset to get it. You don't get it. You think like, well, maybe like these guys make a point, but it's just common sense. If you were in Scientology, you would believe Scientology's defenders. You would, when they explain, like, don't believe those outsiders. They're NPs or whatever we call those people. And they're dangerous and we shouldn't listen to them. And it's the same thing. Anyway, my 2 cents. I'm off on my soapbox, but we do have 2 more calls in the queue.
Great.
Priesthood power. It doesn't work well. If it works, it doesn't seem to work very well. It's unrecognizable from not working. It's indiscernible from a fraud.
Priesthood power. It's now or never. Is that Gary Puckett in the Union Gap? I did a bad job of it, but that's okay.
What does SP stand for again? It's something people.
I don't know. State president. Do they have those in Scientology too?
Yeah,
they're everywhere. State presidents are taking over the world.
Somebody say it's a derogatory term.
USP.
Only there.
You freaking SP.
Who's on the phone lines? What's the name?
Son of perdition. That's what it is.
Person.
Oh, sorry. I'm not saying my name before. Josh Kim. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, Josh, how are you doing?
Josh, apparently it's a suppressive person.
Suppressive person, SP.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't know I was are you guys calling me?
Say what?
No, the reason why I called was because this whole discussion reminds me of you guys ever see Star Trek the Undiscovered Country? No, actually, no, wait. It was Star Trek The Final Frontier. It was like
I've seen it.
The original series cast.
Do bees buzz?
And then what?
Do bees buzz?
I said, do bees buzz? Does Spock beam up? Of course, I've seen it.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I didn't get that, but I'm a little slow tonight. I kind of haven't been feeling well lately. But maybe when I'm ready to talk about it, maybe it'll be another time when I'm ready to talk about that. But yeah, it was like when supposedly God exists in like the center of the galaxy, and Spock's half brother, Vulcan half brother, wanted to go find to use the Starship Enterprise to go find the center of the universe or the galaxy to find God, and they meet God in like this desert planet, and God says, "I will use your starship to, bring me to the galaxy, right?" And like, and Kirk asks, "What does God need with a starship?"
Have you ever heard that quote before,
Right.
RFM?
I think I've heard that before. That's a great line, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's an awesome line, and I use that for everything that has to do with the church, because it's like, what does God need with, hiding money, right? I mean, he doesn't need money, right? Why does God need currency?
What does God need with the catalyst theory? Why can't he just have Abraham write the shit down with his own hand?
Exactly. Exactly. It's just, if you ask this question to almost anything, it's like some people will shut down because, like, I posted that question. Well, I didn't use a Star Trek quote, but I said, why does God need our tithing money? And an old young men's president, leader of mine, he said, because God doesn't like to micromanage stuff. And to which I say, well, he's really selective on when he chooses to micromanage or not, because in Doctrine and Covenants, he lays out an entire section dedicated to how the proceeds of the Nauvoo house could be,
the stock, stock in the Nauvoo house.
Yep.
Could be
and it
124.
was so
Section
exact.
124 maybe.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, like
But
I
that's
think
but
you
that's
know,
important
everything.
stuff.
Well, yeah,
That's important stuff.
you know,
The God's got
world
to get it just right on that
world
stuff.
hunger,
He tells me,
Polygamy, not so
world hunger.
important, just a broad outline and go and, have fun, Joseph.
Just work hard and you won't be poor. That's all they say. Like and you know, I'm Korean myself, so I kind of have a memory of being in Korea until I was 6, and so we had a temple in like maybe 1985, I want to say, and it took us decades to reach there, right? Since the gospel came to Korea, or the LDS gospel anyway, and like members sacrificed so much there to have that temple built, right? And they made a lot of personal sacrifices. And I'm like wondering to what end, like how does the church always says, well, temples bring blessings. I'm like, well, how? Where's the proof that temples bring blessings, right? Like any noticeable differences? Yeah, it's all just I don't know, one giant like.
You are so lost to even be asking that question.
Right?
You are so lost. You're not supposed to ask that question. Where are the blessings? What does this mean?
Yeah.
Could you be more vague? No,
Mhm.
could you be more specific? See, the idea is to be so vague that anything will qualify.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thank you, Josh.
Yep. Thank you, gentlemen, and have a good night.
Yeah,
And
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas.
God, they say like, well, God doesn't, want to micromanage. He tells me I can't drink a tea. Like you're sitting there just stirring your tea up. You're reading the news where tea and coffee are good for you. And you're like, that guy doesn't want me to drink coffee or tea. He's micromanaging.
Yeah, I know. I'm God. I don't want to micromanage anything. By the way, you're wearing your underwear wrong.
Yeah. Don't masturbate.
Oh my gosh. God is the ultimate micromanager in Mormonism. Otherwise, he couldn't help you find your keys.
And that's one of the things he seems to be good at, because eventually everyone finds their keys.
He's like the divine metal detector.
Yeah.
I think he's got a metal detector. He's got a really good one, and that's what he uses to help people find their keys, and that's why that's his thing.
Yeah. That's what he's good at. Heavenly Father, stick to lost keys. You're good at that. Stick to that.
Yes.
Kids getting sold into the sex trade business, not so good. Just stay out of the business. You're not doing that great at it.
He can clear a minefield in nothing flat, though.
Yeah. If John Gee has anything to say about it and his help along the way.
What am I juggling?
Yeah, hand grenades. Hey, I was laughing while Josh was talking. I wasn't laughing at something Josh was saying, which was very serious at the moment. I was looking at my screen and I looked over and I thought, yeah, that's still funny.
Thank goodness the kid said, I want a little brother and not I want a little brothel.
Yeah, there have been a few more heads there at the bottom. Huh? All right, we've got another call. I think it's Deborah. So Deborah, you're on Mormonism After Dark. Is that the name? Do I have it right?
Yeah, for
Nice.
sure.
You're on Mormonism Live.
So I was raised LDS. Do Mormons still feel that they can heal with the power of the holy oil in a keychain
Yes.
with the hands? And this is still taught in Mormonism?
Yes. All that is still taught.
Yes.
Bill wants to correct you, but I'm saying yes because everything you said is true, though perhaps a little bit incomplete.
Yes. Although every person giving a blessing knows this probably won't work.
Well, yeah, it didn't work in my situation. My daughter died. So I'm very curious if they're like, going hard nosed. Well, even apostles, I feel like, thought that they were going to get like healed or born again, or like that is definitely a conversation that has happened with like the elite, that like someone could heal them and save them. Even Warren Jeffs feels like he can be saved.
Yes.
So I was just wondering, like, do people still carry the oil on the keychain? Is that still a Mormon
yes.
thing? Because I've been out of church for a long time.
By the way, Deborah,
I like to laugh about this.
it's true. Deborah, I just want to say, philosophically speaking, I like to think that nobody is beyond redemption, except maybe for Jacob Hansen.
Okay. Oh, that's a good point. Good point. Hey, cherry on top of that. Okay. Well, you answered my question. I just wanted to know if people were still carrying around keychains full of oil.
Well, Deborah, here's the burden
I know
of the
they-
male Mormon. The burden of the male Mormon who has the priesthood is when they get called upon to give blessings. Because the pressure's really on. They know they're expected to perform. They know they're not going to, unless they catch like just this huge break, right?
Can we put that somewhere else besides his keychain? I mean, I've been
No, the
married
keychain is
to a
essential.
Mormon,
The
and
keychain is in the scriptures. It's section 141 of the Doctrine and Covenants. Keychain required.
You got to have it ready. Time is crucial. You want to have it on the thing you always have with you. Your keys. You got to be ready to perform a blessing. You could get to a train crossing and have someone who's had a severed arm.
literally said I was going to have sex with Jesus Christ, and my first 2 marriages was like, like, where was the oil?
Say that
Like,
again.
he should have put it on them.
Are you asking where the oil was in your first 2 marriages?
Yeah, because I was married in the temple with 2 bishop's sons, and it was like so
At different times.
anticlimactic.
At different times. So
Yeah.
you married 2 different bishop's sons?
Yes.
Well, you got married in the temple,
Well,
but
the
there's
first
no
one-
oil in, well, there is in the initiatories. So you went through the initiatories,
Well,
right? The washing and anointings.
Also, you would think I was marrying rock stars who were like, I've got the oil, I've got the beast, I've got the like anointed. No, oh my God. I mean, I hate to turn this into a conversation that looks like that, but like when we were talking about like people feeling that they have special powers, if you were going to be a woman looking for a man who would have all these criteria that you wanted to check, and then that one didn't check, and he still carried around a keychain, you would be like, what's in your wallet? I guess.
This week's episode of Mormonism After Dark brought to you by American Express. What's in your wallet?
Hopefully it would be a temple recommend. Because otherwise that oil's not going to be good for anything.
I know. I'm obnoxious. Okay.
Am I the only person
Now
who
you
never
know what
used?
I'm saying.
Am I the only person who got guilted into buying one of those dumb keychains, got the oil, got it consecrated, didn't do it myself. They were doing it in priesthood meeting, right? Okay, we're going to consecrate everybody's oil. Okay, we all stand around and consecrate the oil. And then they give you the lowdown of what it is you're supposed to do when you give a blessing. Am I the only person that had the oil actually go stale and rank in the keychain because I never used it?
You had green
Right?
oil.
And I'm like, I always wondered what the boys did with the oil in the keychain. I mean, I kind of wondered as a woman because it felt like it was just like
It's very important.
girl.
Yeah, the idea is if you come on a car wreck and somebody is in need of a blessing, that you need to push the EMTs aside and say, "Get back, baby. I'm giving this guy a blessing."
Do they still believe in that though?
Yes,
It's my
absolutely.
question because that's how we were raised. Really?
Yes, they believe in it desperately.
Is your keychains full of oil?
Yeah, the oil is important because of James 5.
In church and in marriages. Yes. I agree with you. Thank you, Deborah.
Okay, I'm so out of the time. Thank you, boys. I love it.
Take
Yeah,
it
we'll
easy.
see who's laughing when you need a blessing, Deborah.
I'm not I'm no laying on of hands for this one. Yeah.
Good night. Thanks for watching.
If we knew what was good for us, that's what we would do right now. Good night.
Well, we're already 20 minutes from the end of the show.
We're getting close. Do you when you gave blessings, when you were all in, you knew Mormonism was the one true religion. When you gave blessings, did you sort of sense like I probably can't heal anybody from a terminal illness?
Let me tell you the story, okay? It's been ages since I told it. I try not to repeat myself to the point where important stories get lost. My first experience with the priesthood after hearing about it and its wonders from the missionaries was, and receiving the priesthood, because I got the Aaronic priesthood right away. Then I had to wait a year to get the Melchizedek priesthood, and then I go on the mission at 19. But my friend Bruce, his mom, who's just a dear person, single mom, raising this family, and the husband's not around. The dad's not around, Bruce's dad. You know, it's just an incredible person. Really sweet. And but she was really hurt, and I think it was her leg. I don't know if she'd fallen down, if she got hurt at work. But she's in a lot of pain. And they call the missionaries over to the house. So this is probably 79. And I'm there because I hang out there a lot, and Bruce is there. And I think we did not have the Melchizedek priesthood. So we're observers. And the missionaries came over. You got 2 elders. You can do this, right? And the mom takes a chair and hobbles over with this chair, you know, so you can sit in it. I think somebody went to help her, you know, but she comes hobbling out. She sits in the chair in a great pain. And I am watching. I mean, I'm going to see something. And the missionaries are there, whom I viewed as just, you know, just under the angels, maybe. And they came in and they anointed her with oil. One of them did. And then they put both their hands, sets of hands on her head, and blessed her. And I could not wait to find out and see, because I had visions of her getting up and clicking her heels like you, Bill.
Yeah.
And they got done, and she got up, and she hobbled away in just as much pain as she had been in before. And it was such a letdown. This is as bad a letdown as when I was 5 and found out the Superman costume I got for Christmas wouldn't actually make me fly.
Ooh.
And I remember talking about it to Bruce later. What's going on with this? And his response was, well, we don't know. We don't know. Her leg could have been broken. And so it's like her leg wasn't broken. Well, maybe her leg was broken and the blessing healed her leg, but left her as lame as she was going in.
Indiscernible from a fraud.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm talking really slow out there. Was somebody commenting about that?
No, somebody said for you to talk slower.
Well, I thought that they meant that sarcastically.
No, I thought it was a great point. Yeah, it's always watered down to the point where it can be explained why you're seeing it looking like a fraud. I know it looks like a fraud, but if you only had faith, but we'll find out on the other side, but it's a catalyst theory, but Lord means 2 different gods, but it's a commentary.
Oh, good one.
It keeps
I got
going.
that reference.
Yeah. It goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
And we're here to call it out.
Yeah. By the way, I want to put it back up on the screen. It looks like Santa's crying. He looks like he's crying, RFM.
Because he doesn't want to have to give Tommy his brothel. But he's Santa Claus, so he's morally bound to give Tommy his brothel for Christmas. It's the Tommy brothel.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Did we talk about tomorrow's show?
You did talk about tomorrow's show at the beginning, but you're welcome to mention it again.
Did I mention Oliver and the Witnesses?
Oliver and the Witnesses. By the way, this was cool. I had to use Martin Harris's actual head, but when I took Oliver Cowdery's face and I put it into AI, I used Midjourney. When I put it into AI, I said, "Have this guy playing a bass guitar," and it comes out. And you know, you look at that and you go, that's Oliver Cowdery. And then
Yeah.
David Whitmer, sort of the same thing. You're like, yeah, it looks like David Whitmer.
Whitmer's had a lifelong meth addiction. You can tell.
But I couldn't get Martin Harris to work, so I had to make Martin Harris's head on the front of a different drummer.
Martin Harris kind of looks like Keith Richards, don't you think?
He's got a neck beard. Those were in at one time. This guy looks like somebody who'll give me $3,000 to print 5,000 copies.
The chicks used to dig the old neck beard, baby.
Can you imagine?
Martin Harris was a happening kind of guy.
Martin Harris had a neck beard. Oh, no wonder he was resigned to the drums.
So, everybody, is anybody else calling, or do they just want to hear you keep going?
No, that's it.
Because you're really on quite the roll tonight.
I haven't ended the call-in studio, but it is not. There's no one there.
What about the StreamYard? Is
There's
that available for people to?
Yeah, if anybody wants to come in studio, we've got a few minutes left. 14 minutes. So somebody
Because I insist on working for the full 90 minutes.
Yeah. Oliver and the Witnesses. I love it. It's a great band name, guys. If you ought to get this around, if some group of Mormon kids want to create a band, Oliver and the Witnesses. And would you allow that, or do you claiming copyright on that? Is there a lawsuit in the works if that happens? Or
I think my saying it offhand on a live stream, Mormonism After Dark, doesn't give me any proprietary interest in it, really.
Okay, well, it's available, folks.
So, guess what?
Billable hours.
Exactly. Sunday, I've got tickets to go and see the Nutcracker
Oh, nice. Where are you seeing it at?
up in Bellingham.
How far is that from home?
I'm not going to tell you that.
There are
I'll say it's 3 hours
3 hours. Nice.
if the traffic's good. So it's up there in Bellingham, and it's not Seattle, right? It's not going to be Pacific Northwest Ballet, but that's okay because I've been there and I've done that. And this is going to be obviously a smaller group. It's a smaller town. And I managed to get tickets far enough in advance that like the only thing available for two people was in the far back row. And this thing has 3 levels. There's the floor level, there's like the mezzanine, and then there's the balcony. And we're at the very back, at the very end of the row. And I picked those intentionally. But we've got little opera glasses so we can try and see the little stick figures on the stage as they dance around too.
Yeah.
The wonderful music of Tchaikovsky.
Awesome, by the way. That's super exciting. And I wish I could go see that. I wish they were doing something like that here and I could go see it. And of course, there's other Christmas plays here. I'm taking my girlfriend to Vegas this weekend, and we're going to go see a performance as well. We're going to go see Magic Mike. So Magic Mike.
Is that the headless chicken?
No, that's Headless Mike.
You did an episode. That was like one of your first episodes.
No, it was like episode 219 or something. But
it was new to me. That was like right when I was getting into Bill Reel, if you know what I'm saying.
No, Magic Mike is the movie series with oh goodness, what's his name? Somebody will know it, but it's like a bunch of stripper guys. And so the stripper guys are going to dance, and I surprised my girlfriend with a couple of seats up close.
Are you talking about Chappaquiddick?
Not
Chippendales.
No, it's going to be, I think, more mild than that. That's pretty intense. This is more of like,
this is a show.
This isn't
a movie.
The show, it plays on that. I've never been there, but I think it's a little racy, but a little risky, but not quite.
I see. I don't understand.
Channing Tatum. That's who they're putting it out there. Channing Tatum.
Yeah, he's a hottie.
So we'll go see the Vegas show. And you got tickets in the back.
Oh, yeah.
I got tickets on the opposite of that.
In the front?
Yeah, I wanted her to like have it like right in her face, you know? I wanted that to happen.
You're kidding now.
No, I'm being
You're on the very front row?
One of them. No. I didn't pay for like the most expensive. I'm like row 4 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's a good
I'm
time.
impressed.
Yeah. All right. So we do have one more call.
Someone was asking why Seattle? Why not Seattle? Because Seattle is a royal pain in the ass. That's why.
Not
Very
Seattle.
simply, Seattle has made it difficult to go there. So I do it only if I really, really want to see something. And I have seen the production. It's by George Balanchine, the choreography. I think they're still doing that. And it's very 1950s. And it's so 1950s that it even has a dance where they use hula hoops, which were a new thing when Balanchine choreographed it. And so it was wonderful, but it doesn't really, having seen it once, I don't feel like I need to see it again.
And hang on one second, caller. I'll just say RFM. They're saying in the splash zone, and I'm like, yes, in the splash zone.
What's that?
And
in the front row, is that the splash zone?
And then so Magic Mike is a stripper, not a magician. No, it's sort of like pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but different.
But stripper Mike, he's a magician.
Oh goodness. Okay, caller, go ahead. What's the name?
Hi, I'm Melanie.
Hi, Melanie.
Melanie.
Yes, I'm an Idaho girl living in the Canadian world.
Nice.
Are you one of those polygamous compounds?
Cyndi Lauper on this one.
I have known some polygamists in Canada, but
Yep, I'll bet you did. I know things.
Yep.
I don't know how. Go ahead, please.
well, you were talking about blessings, and then you switched to performances and shows, and maybe I can tie the two together. Way back when I was in high school, Paul H. Dunn came to our high school. We had a brand new gymnasium. It was the second largest gymnasium in the state at the time, and we had all of the seminary students from junior high through high school come to listen to Paul H. Dunn. And of course, then he was a very popular speaker, and we were all delighted to have him come.
Mm-hmm.
And he had us bow our heads so that he would give us all an apostolic blessing.
I hope not. That would be presumptuous of him, since he was only a 70.
And right, but he did. He blessed us all. And then he told us that if we hadn't felt a literal change in our souls, if we hadn't felt all of these feelings, then we were not in tune, and we needed to repent and get our lives together. And the whole gym was quiet. And over the next week, all of the seminary institute teachers were scrambling to assure us that we were all not headed to hell and that we would be okay.
Nice. How many people, Melanie?
Performance.
Melanie, did any of your... Sorry, Melanie, that's an interesting story. Did any of your fellow students manufacture some kind of feeling over this in order to qualify for what Paul H. Dunn said they needed to feel?
Not that, no. I think that we all sat there and didn't feel anything. And it was a scramble over the next few school days to assure us that we were really okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Mormonism, huh?
But anyway, yeah, always enjoy your show and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And I usually do get RFM's references.
Do you get it if I say, I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. You've got a brand new key.
Yes, that's by Melanie, which is also my name.
Boom chakalaka.
Nice.
You go to the head of the class, Melanie. Thanks for calling.
Have a great day.
Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye. And then we've got one more call, one more person in studio, and then we'll end it after that. So we've got, I believe, Murray. Is that the right name?
Or is it Bob?
Or is it Bob?
Bob.
Hello. Oh, let's try this again. Murray, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Hello?
Go ahead, my friend. We hear you.
This is Murray?
Yeah, I love the show. I was just
This person
curious.
cannot be reached at the moment. Please leave a message after the tone.
You might want
After
to
you
just
leave
leave
a
a message,
you
Murray.
can modify it by pressing pound.
Hold on, I don't know what's going on.
Hello, I'd like to leave a message. What in the hell happened to Murray?
I don't know what happened there.
Murray, speak to me, pal.
Let's hold on a
Oh my
minute.
gosh.
Call back. Let's try.
But Bill, did you see there was a person down there whose name was Bob?
Oh yeah, but I didn't make him disappear. That wasn't me. So let's try getting
Okay.
Murray back.
Murray.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, go ahead, my friend.
Okay.
Yes. Hey, I love the show. I found you guys like a year ago or so, and man, it's changed my whole world. My family, we all come from pioneer stock in the church, and I'm just curious, like RFM, you're still a member of the church and want to be a member of the church. I'm a member of the church and I want to be, but
I'm still a member of the church. I'm not sure I want to be.
Yeah,
We're gonna
right.
accommodate that eventually.
I'm complicated.
All
By the
right.
way, Bobby, please come back.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
come back. We'll make room for you. Go ahead, Murray.
Yeah. Well, that's where I am. I just, my whole family is, and so, I got a little daughter. She wants to be baptized, and I don't know. I just feel super conflicted about it. I wonder. I understand the church isn't what I thought it was, but my whole family's part of it, and my kids want to be part of it. And I don't know. I'm trying to find my way.
Okay, Murray.
I feel.
I have the answer for you.
Thank God.
Okay. It's Christmas time. You got a little kid. Does your kid believe in Santa?
Yeah.
Do you facilitate that by playing along?
Oh yeah.
Do you do that to make her happy?
I do.
There's your answer.
It's all make believe anyway. Like make it whatever the hell you want to make it.
When do you have the conversation with them about what reality really is? What time do you tell them?
You teach them little bit all along the way. They'll figure it out if you just give them little tidbits here and there. You help them to think critically, but also kids don't need to know that there's dangerous people on the street corner. It's okay to just know there's a boogeyman underneath the bed.
And I have the answer to that second question of yours. By the way, no more questions because I only have an allotment of so many correct answers. And I'm getting it from Tessa anyway, because she says, Murray, please watch today's Mormonish with Colby and Cammie Reddish. You will have your questions answered there, my friend.
Okay. I appreciate that. That sounds like good advice.
That can answer any question that you pose.
Nice.
Thanks, Tessa. And thanks, Colby and Cammie.
Any other questions, Murray, or does that do it?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Love the show.
Yeah, the fact that you care as deeply as you do and you're asking the question means you'll figure it out. And so will she.
Yeah.
Merry
I hope
Christmas.
so.
Merry Christmas, Murray.
People worry. I remember people asking me when I left, they said, like, what about your kids? Like, what do you do with your kids? And I said, there is a trade-off. I said, if your kids leave the faith, they will make more mistakes as kids, but they'll be, I think, more well-rounded, more developed adults. And I think it's never a win-win and it's never a lose-lose, and you just do the best you can and you take things as they come. So
yeah, absolutely. I was putting up some comments. People had different thoughts about that.
Well, go ahead and put that back up again.
Oh, okay. I'll let me leave that up just a few seconds longer. People can see what Mark has to say.
Yeah, don't let the child be baptized into this damn cult. Children treated as children, adults as adults. Yeah. Children need some myth. The trouble with Mormonism is that you never graduate. You're at best a 14-year-old kid your entire life.
Look at that Saints book. That's written to the adult members of the church.
Yeah.
And everybody, but including the adult members of the church.
Do you think because they need to frame it in a way that they make excuses for faith, that it actually benefits them to write at a 7th grade level? Because that's a simplified way of telling stories. So you can blame the leaving out of important data as this isn't made for college sort of curriculum. This is 7th graders We just tell them that George Washington told the truth and he chopped down a cherry tree.
I'm not asking for the world. How about just 10th grade level? Would that be too much to ask?
Yeah.
But I don't know. You raise that interesting question, though.
Yeah. Okay, we'll wrap it up here with Bob. It's 9:30. Bob, you are the final guest of the night. Go ahead, my friend.
Bob.
Oh, I was just calling in to say hello. Hello?
What is that you're holding in your hand on your avatar? It looks like a...
That's my son, and that's my son for Halloween this year.
Thank God. Awesome. That's all I can say, Bobby. Thank God. I was very worried. I didn't know what to say. So I let Bill go first, and he said, "What are you holding in your hand? As if you look like that."
That's a cartoon version of like Breaking Bad or something.
That's my son for Halloween.
Yeah.
But out with your friends.
So what is he holding in his hand then?
It is a sword. Cleaver type sword or something.
Asnat was going to finally catch up with us, RFM.
There we go. So is it lit from within?
No, that was just reflection on it. So when I took the picture,
looks like he might be threatening a young Joseph Smith or an older Joseph Smith.
I'd trust him as a prophet more than Joseph Smith.
I tell you, I might have to engage in plural marriage too if I saw that coming at me.
The avatar is definitely safer around your live-in daughter maid. Yes.
Oh, definitely he is. He's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, nice.
Wonderful. You sound like you're a great dad.
I'm trying to be. Because I had a less quality one growing up, so I might as well try to be a quality one.
Good for you. One of the most important things I learned in my English class, senior class, AP English, was a line from a book called Henderson the Rain King by Saul Bellow, and I don't remember anything else about it except for this one line. And this is the line: "The brave man holds the evil."
Yep.
So good for you. Yeah, I've tried to do that. I've been blown up plenty of times for it, figuratively and literally. Anyways, just wanted to say thank you, guys.
You've blown up literally?
Be brave.
Went to Iraq a few times. Got blown up a few times.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your service, Bob.
You're welcome. People like you made it worth coming home.
Well, thank you. I couldn't do what I do without you doing what you do.
Yeah. I was just calling in to say thank you guys. You guys and a lot of others from the community. I started listening after I had my own moment of faith crisis, and you guys have helped. So I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Bob. And Merry Christmas to you and your troglodyte son.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Well, RFM, that was a great episode.
Troglodyte.
What's that?
I got to use troglodyte. It's not every day you get to use the word troglodyte in a sentence.
Very different than trilobite, right?
Or trilobite. I'm sorry. That's just how I learned to say it when I was in first grade. Is it a trilobite?
What's a troglodyte is...
Got to find a woman.
It's a winged animal, correct?
It's a caveman.
A caveman?
One who lives in caves.
Let me look it up here.
From the Latin trog, meaning cave.
This says...
what is it? Am I wrong?
A Eurasian wren. Troglodytes, also known as the Eurasian wren. A very small insectivorous bird.
Yeah, that's not it.
Okay.
I can't even, can you make that bigger? Because I can't imagine that. No, that's different. See, that's troglodyte, literally cave goer. See, it is trog cave. I actually was right. I thought I was being funny, but I can't miss tonight, apparently.
Troglodyte.
Except it's probably Greek or something. Yeah, it means cave dweller right there. Wikipedia. See it? There you go, baby.
So we're both right.
How are you right?
Because
You weren't right at all. You were completely wrong.
No, because a troglodyte is a
I can't even
Eurasian
see
red.
that. Hang on a second here. I
Hold
don't
on.
even think that's the same word.
Troglodyte. It's a bird and a caveman.
No, that's troglodytes.
Well, all right. I guess you win. But I was close.
You
I get at
were.
least
You
half a
were
point.
actually, and I didn't know that there was an Eurasian wren called a troglodytes. But I certainly wouldn't have mistaken it for a troglodyte even if I had.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, anything else you want to say before we close out this episode of Mormonism After Dark? I had a ton of fun. I hope people laughed. I think people laughed.
I think everybody knew that you were having a ton of fun, Bill.
That was obvious.
There was a lot of comments in the live chat about how everybody was remarking about you having a lot of fun. They liked it generally.
Good. What about specifically?
They especially liked the part where you got up on the table and started dancing with a lampshade on your head. Do you remember that at all?
No,
I'm not surprised.
I definitely didn't do that. So
I'm not surprised you don't remember that.
All right. Well, I don't. So anything else?
No, I want to thank everybody. It's been a great time. I love this this time of year, Friday night, the longest night of the year, unless you happen to be down under. And I just love this. And, you know, I get to spend time with you, Bill, one of my favorite people on the planet, except for Jacob Hansen. And
close second.
This is my apologist thing, to say two completely contradictory things in the same podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Once an apologist, always an apologist.
That's my apologist impression. All right, but thanks everybody for watching. Merry Christmas to you. Please, if you can. I know Christmas is a time for family, but we're a family too, damn it. So we're having a party on Christmas Eve for the family. And if you can join us, great. It's going to be starting at 6:00 p.m. Mountain Time. 6:00 p.m. Mountain Time. We got a great lineup. So hopefully it won't be longer than 2 hours, I don't think. You can come and go. You know, it's not like there's a story through it. We're just having people show up for a few minutes, share a Christmas memory or story or a spiritual thought. God help us. And we're just going to get together as a family and spend some time together on Christmas Eve. And I hope that you can join us for that. So everybody, once again, thanks. And Merry Christmas to you if I don't see you before then. Good night, everybody. See us next week, next Friday, same time for Mormonism After Dark.